This is a must-watch anime for April. The male lead is reborn as a goblin. Just born, he can't even stand up. With a voice by Yu, he unexpectedly becomes the Goblin King in 30 days. Because he has the devouring ability from his past life. As long as he eats the flesh of others devoured, he can transfer their abilities to himself. He thought he could quietly grow stronger. However, when he opened his eyes, he saw an ugly old man. He was the oldest goblin in the tribe, so he named the protagonist Go Brown. Then he fed him a high-protein meal. Until the next day, when the protagonist woke up, he saw a bunch of newly born green babies around him. It was then he realized he had reincarnated as a goblin. But at that moment, he couldn't even stand up. By the third day, the goblin's genetic advantages allowed him to grow to the size of a 10-year-old human. By the fourth day, the old man gave them their last meal. Yeah, because these goblins had grown to adulthood, they would have to hunt for themselves from now on. Go-Bug to chase a horned rabbit. The protagonist gave a surprise fatal blow from the tree, but the Go-Bug wanted to hoard the food for itself. It got the rabbit's horn. It suddenly thought of devouring to gain items. Before it could think much, the Go-Bug next to it was drooling everywhere. The male protagonist saw this and shared some rabbit meat with him. So when he started to eat heartily, he unexpectedly gained the ability to escape like a rabbit. At that moment, the male protagonist remembered the devouring ability he had in his previous world had transferred to this boss intended to forge a suitable weapon in the armory. He saw a few human women with big bellies. Although the male lead understood what was happening, as a goblin he didn't want to delve deeper. Just then, the old man walked over. When he noticed how quickly the male lead was leveling up, they ran off. Then they thought about their magical eyes. They directly pinned all the blood bats in midair. Then they easily took them all down. Outside the cave, the male lead started to eat. They gained enhanced hearing. But at that moment, a few useless goblins watched them eat hungrily. Everyone was sound asleep by midnight. Unexpectedly, a few goblins were going to attack the protagonist, but he awakened while he was unharmed. Until the 13th day, the male lead brought back a lot of food for other goblins who couldn't catch food, and it was this action. She became the leader of her peers. Until midnight, the male lead in his wakes up. He finds he has grown a head of hair. His companion Gobu-G has done the same, and he's now towering over his peers. At that moment, the old man approaches. He never expected they would advance to intermediate level in just half a month, but Gobu-G wants to test